Okay, so let's unpack this. We are diving deep into what sounds like a really incredible story of systemic change.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it proves that sometimes, the most powerful tech isn't some fancy satellite or AI. It's a simple tool everyone has, like WhatsApp.
Exactly.
Our focus today is how this innovative collaboration, it really bridged these huge information and access gaps for young people in rural Kenya.
That's right. We're looking at the synergy between the Stawisha Africa initiative and the Forgotten Bottom Millions, or 4BM.
4BM, right.
And it's really a masterclass in decentralized empowerment. It shows how a targeted information network can almost like substitute for a lack of traditional infrastructure.
And the starting point, the initial situation sounds pretty intense. We're talking about Alego, a rural community in Siaya County.
Lego, yes.
The sources, they paint this picture of just overwhelming need. You've got young people constantly asking for help finding jobs, education, training.
Yeah, desperate for opportunities.
But the systems, the dynamics there, they were just working against them. They were basically resource starved.
And what's really crucial to understand here is that before 2017, the founder of Stawisha, they were trying personally, manually linking these youth to whatever they could find.
Wow, that sounds exhausting and probably not very scalable.
Not at all. Unsustainable.
Yeah.
But then the turning point came. They got linked up with the 4BM admins platform.
Okay.
And this was a network facilitated by Han Michael Onyango, who was the Kisumu County government ICT CEO at the time.
So just getting added to, like, a WhatsApp group or a similar platform, that simple link.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That admin addition to a shared digital space, it was instantly transformational.
How so?
Well, think about it. The individual leader, before, maybe they could connect youth to a handful of opportunities here and there, very sporadic.
Right.
As soon as they got access to the shared resources flowing through the 4BM platforms, that access, it jumped a staggering tenfold.
Tenfold, just like that.
Yeah. It really speaks to the sheer speed and power of networked information, doesn't it?
It really does, but it brings up a question maybe for you listening too. When you rely on that kind of decentralized info sharing, especially on something like WhatsApp, how did they handle, verification,
Yeah.
trust, all that noise?
That's a great question, and that's where the structure of 4BM itself becomes really important.
Okay.
The network isn't just random people. It acts as its own vetting mechanism in a way. The information being shared comes from known, vetted sources and administrators within the network.
So it's like an infrastructure of trust built into the network itself.
Precisely. It proves that sometimes the most valuable capital isn't necessarily money. It's a well-organized network of people sharing verified opportunities.
That makes sense. Okay, so let's shift a bit to aligning the missions. Stawisha Africa initiative, who exactly were they focused on helping?
Right. They have a very specific and targeted focus.
Mm-hmm.
Adolescent girls, young women, and their children. That's their core demographic.
And it wasn't just about, say, handing out supplies. Their programs sound quite holistic.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very comprehensive. They're doing life skills training, vocational training, helping girls get back into school,
Reentry,
entrepreneurship support, even addressing health across generations through nutrition support and skillful parenting programs for these young mothers.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. And this whole suite of activities, it fits perfectly philosophically with 4BM.
How so? Explain that connection.
Well, the name 4BM, the Forgotten Bottom Millions, these young mothers that Stawisha focuses on, often facing challenges from early pregnancy, societal stigma.
Marginalization, yeah.
They are disproportionately represented among those community members who are often neglected, maybe even avoided by the more traditional systems.
So they are quite literally the forgotten lot that 4BM aims to reach.
Exactly, that forgotten group. So Stawisha's focus on these vulnerable young women and their kids aligns perfectly with 4BM's mission to serve the underserved. It's a really powerful match built on those shared values. Got it. A natural fit.
It is. And Stawisha even has this core mantra that sums it up. When young people thrive, community thrives.
I like that.
Yeah. They clearly recognize that empowering these often overlooked individuals, it creates this huge ripple effect, a multiplier effect, for the whole region.
That's a really powerful idea. And it's a good transition point, too, because once you have that alignment, you need to actually do things, right? You need execution.
Mm-hmm.
Now, organizations often jump straight to thinking about funding, but the sources we looked at make it clear that for young groups like Stawisha, the first hurdles are often visibility and linkage gaps, like before funding even becomes the main issue.
That's a crucial point.
So how did 4BM help solve those really fundamental problems?
Well, you could almost think of 4BM acting like a high-powered but very low-cost PR and networking agency for them.
Okay, interesting analogy.
Think about it. Visibility means nobody knows you exist. Linkage means you can't connect with the critical people or networks making decisions. 4BM basically gave Stawisha a megaphone to solve both. A megaphone. And what did that translate to, practically?
It meant mainstream exposure. Stawisha's work across their three main areas, education and skills, food security and environment, and health and wellness, it started getting noticed
Oh.
through mainstream media channels, specifically radio interviews. So they weren't just talking within their own small circles anymore. They were literally on the airwaves.
Reaching a much wider audience.
Exactly. And that media piece was paired with direct access through the 4BM social media platforms, which reached thousands of members across the region.
Okay, so visibility solved. What about the linkage part, making actual connections?
That's where you really see the policy impact potential unlock. This wasn't just passive sharing. It enabled direct, high-level connections that would have been almost impossible for a rural community group to make otherwise.
Can you give us a solid example of that linkage? Like, what kind of doors did this network actually open?
Sure. So through the 4BM platforms, they were able to find and then collaborate with specialized consultants. People with expertise in really niche areas like ICT, sexual reproductive health, environment.
Things you probably can't easily find locally in a Lego.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Finding that level of expertise when you're operating out there is tough. And the sources give a fantastic example. Stawisha managed to secure a key policy panelist through 4BM for a regional dialogue event. This event brought together delegates from across East and Southern Africa to talk about SRH sexual reproductive health policy frameworks.
Wow. So they went from dealing with local issues to influencing regional policy discussions almost overnight because of that connection.
That's the power of it.
Yeah.
And the access went even higher up the chain.
Really?
Yeah, they got to participate in roundtable dialogue sessions with the United Kingdom Deputy High Commissioner to Kenya.
Seriously, a grassroots leader sitting at that kind of table.
Exactly. Discussing policy implications alongside other regional leaders. It's a huge testament to the kind of legitimizing power that the 4BM network provided.
That's incredible leverage. And it wasn't just policy, right? There was something about innovation exposure, too.
Yes, that was crucial too. Stawisha members got to attend the Lake Basin Innovation and Investment Week.
And that's important because...
Because it's not just a meet and greet. It's a critical space to learn about market needs, what's new in innovation, and potentially meet key investors active in the Lake region ecosystem.
Okay, so 4BM wasn't just like a job board. It was acting as this high-level conduit for policy, for innovation.
Exactly. It fundamentally challenged that old idea that all the important advocacy and learning has to happen in the capital city. It brought those opportunities right to the grassroots.
So that experience, seeing how a network could transform their external reach, must have prompted Stawisha to think about their own internal structure.
It did. If a network could boost their access like that, how could they build something similar, something sustainable inside the organization?
Yeah.
And this leads us to a really key operational lesson they learned.
Which was?
They basically adopted that viral multiplier effect structure they saw in 4BM.
Okay.
And this was vital because they recognized a huge systemic challenge looming: the reducing global funding basket. Everyone in the NGO space knows about this.
Right. Relying only on unpredictable donor funding is risky.
It's a recipe for potential failure down the line. They needed a model that guaranteed some level of sustainability beyond those traditional, often shrinking funding cycles.
So they developed this thing called the engagement tires model. Sounds a bit technical. What does that actually look like on the ground? How does it work?
Okay, think of it like a set of nested wheels or tires that can self-replicate information flow. It's a decentralized way to manage commands and information for grassroots engagement.
So information doesn't just get stuck at the top with the main leader.
Exactly. No bottlenecks. Stawisha set up these engagement tires where information spirals downwards.
So maybe like a core official runs a main WhatsApp group, and then people in that group run smaller subgroups, and so on.
That's pretty much the idea. It flows efficiently from group officials down through layers to individual members. But the key is, each layer isn't just passively receiving info. They're responsible for passing it on and even verifying that people have received it or understood it.
Okay, so accountability is built in.
Right. It ensures that crucial information, whether it's about a scholarship, a job opening, a health training session, moves quickly and reliably across the whole network. It's almost like organizational franchising, in a way.
that structural shift seems revolutionary for the nonprofit world because it means Stawisha isn't just aid dependent anymore, they become network dependent.
Precisely. So when that global funding basket inevitably shrinks, their primary resource, which is verified information, and the internal connections to spread it, that stays strong.
That's really smart. And it brings us to the results, right? The concrete outcomes of all this resource sharing. It wasn't just about getting into meetings.
No, not at all. It was access to actual tangible opportunities, scholarships, jobs, even books and learning materials shared across the 4PM platforms.
Let's talk about the online library for a second, because that sounds like a massive equalizer.
It really is. By resharing and organizing all these academic resources and materials they got access to via 4BM, Stawisha now runs the largest legitimate online resource sharing platform in the whole of Siaya County.
Wow. How many people use it?
The sources say they have an active online library with over 260 members in the Stawisha network alone.
That's significant. For you listening, just imagine being a young mother in a rural area trying to maybe continue your education or gain some professional skills.
Yeah, but you lack physical access to textbooks, maybe reliable internet cafes.
Exactly. This online library, facilitated by a simple digital network, it just fundamentally levels the playing field compared to, say, someone with easy access in Nairobi.
Absolutely. And this access to resources translates directly into real skills and achievements.
Like the ICT program.
Yes, the sources report this wonderful achievement. Over 170 youth graduated from their ICT program. And remember who Stawisha focuses on.
Right, the majority were teenage mothers.
Exactly. Giving them tangible, marketable skills.
And that ICT program, that wasn't just a random idea, was it? There's a connection back to the network.
Perfect feedback loop. That specific ICT project idea, it came about following their engagement at the Lake Basin Innovation Week,
Which they accessed.
courtesy of the 4BM network. So network exposure sparked an idea which turned into a fully functional program graduating skilled youth. It's all connected.
That's fantastic. So the organization grew, the members benefited. Did this whole engagement impact the leadership personally as well?
It definitely did. The leaders specifically reported becoming more industrious, more studious, like improving their knowledge across various topics, more focused, accountable, and resourceful.
So more effective overall.
And more confident, able to participate confidently in those bigger regional and even global discussions we talked about.
Now, what's fascinating here, and the sources point this out, is that the leader involved, Oduor, wasn't exactly starting from scratch. They were already highly capable, right?
Absolutely not, starting from zero. The sources remind us Oduor had close working ties with Obama at the Saudi Coup Foundation, going back to at least 2013, coordinating field projects there.
So already operating at a significant level.
Yes, a proven track record of competence and trust. Apparently, Oduor even helped the extended Obama family with logistics during Barack Obama's 2015 visit to Kenya.
Really? Like what?
Things like helping secure tickets for big venues, Villa Rosa Kempinski, Kasarani Sports Complex. It just shows the level of trust and capability already present.
Okay, so this wasn't about taking someone inexperienced and making them capable. This was about taking an existing high-capacity civic leader
Exactly.
and amplifying their effectiveness, especially their reach, into those difficult rural access gaps exponentially, just by plugging them into the right information network.
That's it, precisely. It's leveraging existing capability with a massive boost in reach and resources thanks to the network.
It really shows that even the most effective, well-connected local leaders can be limited by their information channels.
Give them the right network, and suddenly their potential impact just explodes.
So if we try to synthesize all of this, boil it down, the fundamental lesson from Stawisha and 4BM seems to be about the incredible power of these digital networks to just bypass traditional roadblocks, traditional infrastructure failures.
Yeah. It's about leveraging what you probably already have your phone, basically to get what you desperately need. Information, resources, connections, visibility.
Simple tools, massive impact.
And this case study, it really changes the whole resource equation, doesn't it? The sources show that using these digital networks, it doesn't just increase the resources you have access to.
Right.
It fundamentally changes the structure of the organization itself. It helps it move away from relying on those unpredictable shrinking funding cycles.
Towards something more sustainable.
Exactly. Towards a sustainable, community-driven model like those engagement tires.
So it's a shift from relying primarily on capital, on money, to relying on connection on the network.
Precisely. Which leaves us and you, the listener, with maybe a final thought to chew on.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've seen that maybe the highest value resource for Stawisha, in the long run, wasn't the initial donor check. It was the network that enabled that structural change, that self-replication, that sustainability.
Right. The network was the key enabler.
So it raises this important question, maybe for any organization listening, maybe even yours. When you're facing scarce resources or big structural obstacles, is the most powerful tool you actually possess, not the money in the bank account.
But the information network you've built.
Exactly. The network and the operational framework you use to manage how information flows through it. Is the information network itself becoming the new, most durable, most vital form of organizational capital today?
Is the network the real wealth? That's
Yeah.
definitely something to think about.